they should be investing money inside of your form of media, not only is it something that everybody's moving to, it also typically costs less to acquire a customer through online marketing than it does through traditional marketing. Now, online marketing, I do think, does have some shortcomings when it still comes to traditional media. I mean, I think a well-made television ad still does a lot to really brand a company, to really create an emotional awareness of what a company produces. And I still think online, although it's getting closer and closer when it comes to branding companies, still doesn't have some of the power of something like a well-made television or a well-made radio commercial. But these are all these things that you have to think about. Now, where do you find the answers? Some of the places that I look for, I saw TNS India and Cadence. These, for larger clients that you might have in India, these are research companies that can do the work for you to tell you about what it is that your market are finding all their information. Where do they spend their time online? Who is your market? Their age, their income level, gender. Obviously, you can look to your competitors. You know, where are they spending all their time? Where are they spending all their money? Now, it's important to consider that your competitors might not always be right, but you have to make those kind of judgments. You have to think like it's your money, right? It's 9 times out of 10, many of you are probably in situations, except for those of you who own your own companies, it's not your money that you're spending, right? Start to think of it as your money, right? I'm going to have to succeed with the way I invest this budget. So am I entirely behind the decisions that the company is going to make when it comes to where you're going to invest it? Okay? Now here's this terribly radical notion. You can just ask customers. Right? Just speak to them. Call them up. I mean, it's amazing how many large companies are out there where you ask people in a marketing department, you know, as they sit there and they try to take a crystal ball and they imagine where it is that their customers are living, but at no point are they actually willing to ever speak to a customer directly or speak to the people in their company that speak to the customers directly. There's this giant chasm between customer service and marketing. That's a chasm that should not exist. The customer service is probably the most valuable resource in a large company when it comes to what it is that your customers are saying. They hear the complaints, they hear the compliments, they hear the questions. These are all the things that you should consider, especially if you're doing keyword research. I think Jillian was talking earlier, or it was mentioned earlier, and I apologize if I'm not referring it correctly, about the tribal concept. Was it you, Jill? Yeah, the tribal concept. I mean, every company I work for has their own language, and it's so eye-opening when you can come to them and say, I know you talk a lot about real estate investment and ROI, or excuse me, REI, real estate owned properties and that kind of thing, but really what people are searching for is a home for sale. Okay, that's what they're looking for. That's what they search for online. So these are all things that you should be pursuing when you're trying to create this mix of where it is that people should be investing their marketing dollars. I talked about personal interviews, online surveys. Facebook, I think, is a great way of engaging your market when it comes to trying to figure out what it is that they are interested in, what are the words that they use when they search for things, because they're using their language when they're posting on your Facebook page or other Facebook pages for that matter. Not only is it, though, that you can use the sort of natural conversation of Facebook and other social media opportunities, that's a great way to survey people. You can post on your Facebook page to say, what is it that you think about our new product? You know, do you like it? Do you not like it? What is it that you think about the idea of us opening a store in XYZ city, to see whether or not that be something you're interested in? And in fact, I think one of the most powerful tools in the Facebook universe is advertising on Facebook, because they give you all this rich demographic information about the fans that are, or the people that are clicking on the ads, in terms of all the things that it is that we're trying to look for to make the right decisions about your marketing mix. Okay, so the next big question that you have to address are, what are your business objectives? Most of the time when I pitch this to a client, they say, well, we want to make more money. That's very useful. It's extremely helpful, okay? You want to make more money, duh. So it's like, I want to make more money too, but let's get past that. Better ways to look at it is to find the easiest path to achieving some of those objectives, such as, are you opening in a new market? Right? That's a good way of looking at some of the different kinds of objectives that a business would have. Do you want to increase your average sale? Sometimes it's easier to just increase the average sale $1 or $2 versus going out and trying to acquire new customers. Existing customers tend to spend more readily with a brand that they already have a relationship with. Increase conversion rates. Launch new products or locations. These are all ways that you can very specifically target the objectives of the business and marry them with the market that it is that you're trying to speak to. Now, after all that you've done to do this research, the important part becomes pitching it to the boss, right, or pitching it to your client. I've got my idea about what it is that you should be doing with the company's money, right? So you have to make a very compelling argument when it comes to that. Now, fortunately, if you've answered all those questions of how do I marry business objectives with the market that it is that you're trying to pursue, this should be pretty easy because you already have the plan. But you should make sure that part of that plan includes the budget, right? You have to talk about, all right, my expected income and my expected expenses. Not only you have to do that, though, you have to be ready to then prove that your plan is either working or in places that it's not working, that you're willing to make some kind of changes. You have to throw in your key performance indicators and make sure that your analytics are working. One of the ways that I think that we very effectively watch our results at Gravity Free is we do a lot of phone tracking. I use a company called VoiceStar, which is now called Marchex Voice Services. And what they do is they just use simple number replacement for our pay-per-click campaigns. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's another alternative, it's called Twilio. It's a phone API.
Can you use that in India?
Yeah, you can use it all over the world.
Well, the only point I was actually going to make about Marchex was that I asked them, I said, well, can I use it in India? And they said no, unfortunately. So tell me the name of that company again.
Yeah, it's called Twilio. It's a phone API. You can use it anywhere. And I tried out Marchex. We tried everything out.